actually visited this place.
What?
There's a rare baby dragon that hatched in Slovenia.
No.
Remember this cave?
We went there.
Yeah, say it.
Postojna.
Are you sure that's what I said?
Yes, Postojna.
Okay, Slovenia's Postojna cave. And do you remember when we went down in the cave and there was an aquarium down in the bottom and they had all those little animals that came from the water of the cave? Do you remember that?
They were blind.
Well, they're called olms, O-L-M-S.
Olms.
They can live for a century and they only breed infrequently. And so they have them in this...
Not like me. I breed very frequently. Oh, sorry, never mind.
Doesn't really sound good, I'm
No,
sorry.
I know.
Anyway, these were considered living proof that dragons existed. And so the local people actually did not go into this cave for many, many years until now. I think isn't it a UNESCO site, as I remember?
Yes.
And anytime anything is declared a UNESCO site, there's a reason.
What proves that they were dragons?
These little mysterious olms.
How could that be?
They've lived for, the locals consider
Do they
it.
look like little dragons?
The locals consider it. We saw it. I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember.
I remember.
I don't remember yesterday.
I remember it. Anyway, it said that now crowds from all over the world are queuing up to witness the hatching of these olms that basically they only breed once every 100 years.
Wow.
But they can live up to 100 years. Oh no, they only breed once in a decade, it
They
says.
need to get out more often.
And in nature, only 2 baby olms successfully hatch from 500 eggs.
Oh, those poor little olms.
It says the new arrival could soon be joined by several siblings with more eggs set to hatch at any moment. Now again, this is, remember the title, the rare baby dragon hatches in Slovenia. So here we have again the dragon. And now then we move along to a small cave salamander, which is nicknamed the human fish because of its human-like skin tone, has just broken the world's record for the longest living amphibian. Now this one, they say it's an olm or also called a proteus.
Proteus.
Proteus?
I don't know.
It describes the human fish as having a snake-like body up to 16 inches long, blind, eyes regressed, covered by a layer of skin.
I had a friend that looked like that.
And guess what? It looks unisex. Okay? And they're saying the analysis of this can shed,
Maybe
light on
it's the reincarnation of
on
Michael
what
Jackson.
promotes longevity in general. So again, we're going into the unisex, the reptilian, long life, and so on. And then I had reported before I left about how they're trying to encourage women now to freeze their embryos so that they can have, or their eggs. Their eggs, so that they can now have children, instead of, in the 20s and 30s, they can have them in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
And 70s.
Well, in 60s is what the article said, and Janet Jackson just announced that she was pregnant.
Yes.
And another woman, Olivia Munn, I think, said she was freezing her eggs. Yeah, Olivia Munn. So, now...
Also, don't ask me to freeze my parts.
They have a new thing. This is there's a woman. I'll just give you her. This is an example. Maria Lancaster, who's 47, couldn't get pregnant. So they have I call it a new thing to me, but apparently this has been going on for a while. These women are called snowflake moms.
Why? Because they're old?
No, because they now adopt an embryo. Now an egg, which is what the women they want you to freeze. The embryos are ones that actually have the sperm and the egg.
They've already developed.
Right. So this is now an embryo.
Isn't it their own?
No.
It's not their own.
No.
Ah.
So now the embryo, you can adopt an embryo. Remember you used to adopt children?
Yeah.
Now, and this said this was as a result of the right-wing Christian people because they said life began at conception even if it began in a petri dish.
I see.
So it says that there are an estimated 600,000 embryos in storage in the U.S. and that the number is growing. Well, think about.
Do we have room in our freezer?
Think about when we talk about the artificial womb. So if they're telling us that they have 600,000 embryos in storage,
and this is 1 billion.
Yeah, so then they're already experimenting on artificial wombs, and they say as long as a woman has a womb, it doesn't matter. They can put this adopted embryo in. So it doesn't matter, I guess, what their hormones are.
Well, the aliens have an artificial one that could stick it in anything.
So anyway, it says that women over the age of 44 have a less than 4% chance of success with the in vitro fertilization, but with the donor embryo, then they have a 50-50 chance. And again, these are called snowflake moms, which I think is really strange. And then it says that now, once women who had the IVF thing going, they have an excess of these embryos because they only implant so many.
Right.
So what do they do with it? This becomes a question. So now they
eBay?
have, apparently they have embryo adoption places. So you don't go now to adopt a child, you go to adopt an embryo.
Right.
And if you can pay it up to $15,000, then the donor actually interviews the couple that's going to adopt their embryo.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If you have a lot of money, you can have it.
Well, even if you don't have a lot, because there are programs that are only $3,500 where you don't interview people. They've just kind of given the...
Did you read that story of the guy that donated a sperm? He has like 22 children already, and now hundreds of women are asking for his sperm.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I thought, it might be a good idea for me to go into business with him and go on.
Anyway, so there's one company, a marketing and program director for the Embryo Adoption Awareness Center, and another one called Nightlight Christian Adoptions Embryo Program. So apparently, because what do we do with these embryos? This is the question.
Embryos are us.
So they can either have them destroyed, they can donate them to science, or now they can adopt them out. And there is also a book out called Ready, Why Women Are Embracing the New Later Motherhood. This is by Elizabeth Gregory, and she says there's still a stigma against the growing group of women who have kids later in life. But if you remember, I've been talking about how that once they have a programmed group of people, and they really don't need to have long lives when they're not successfully programmed. But once they get them successfully programmed, and they can now extend the lifeline of these people, and therefore they want them having children in their 40s and 50s and 60s.
That would be, what's the name of the program? Tinkerbell program.
Tinkerbell programming. So now they're extending the lifeline of the human population. Now that they have a programmed population they think they can control, they're going to get women to either delay or not have it, or by the time you get to 40 or 50 or 60, you may say, well, let's just put it in an artificial womb, and that'll be the next step. You watch. And so far, I'm correct on these things. And then I had also mentioned about Janet Jackson and this Olivia Munn, because we have to have the icons. First of all, we saw the icons in the later 30s, because when my mother was a younger woman, if you didn't have a baby, like in your early 20s, you became an old maid.
Right.
And then they started extending to the 30s was acceptable. And when I had my children at the age of 40 and 43, 35 was considered advanced maternal age. So I was marked on my chart, if you remember, advanced maternal age when I was 39, 40, and 43 having our children.
Whereas I was marked still beautiful.
Yeah. So now that stigma is going away because they're trying to move things in a different direction, the other direction. So found that interesting. Then just a little health note that I found that I thought would be of interest to our readers, that drinking too much coconut water can be dangerous.
Ooh, really?
Because there's a case study here called Death by Coconut.
Oh my.
And the reason I'm bringing this out is because anything that's out there that's popular, just because it's popular, people jump on this bandwagon, that bandwagon, it doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you. So they quote in this study the case of a 42-year-old previously healthy man who developed dangerously high potassium levels that led to fainting and abnormal heart rhythms after drinking a large amount of coconut water.
Well, how much did he drink?
Well, it really wasn't that much. 8 11-ounce bottles throughout the day because he was very active.
That's a lot.
And he was perspiring a lot, so instead of water, he drank the coconut water, and he wound up in the hospital. It's actually a life-threatening heart rhythm change. And it's called hyperkalemia.
Look at you saying a big word.
So
now
it says,
make a sentence with it.
if extremely high potassium levels in the blood remain untreated, the heart may stop beating, causing death.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you this
Coconut
because
death. He died by coconuts.
you have to be careful of all these fads, whatever it is, and don't jump on the bandwagon. Pay attention to
I
your
hope
body.
they never say that about vodka or red wine.
Then moving back along to the transgender issue.
Again?
Again, now in Britain, the UK, there are diversity campaigners that have warned schools that current policies risk discriminating against lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender pupils. So there's Allen's Croft School in Birmingham is believed to be the first state primary to declare it has a gender-neutral uniform. The rules state that boys can wear a gray or black skirt or pinafore, while girls can wear gray or black trousers.
That's why they lost the empire.
It aims to promote each child's right to express their gender and personality in whichever way feels right for them.
Stop right there. People, please go on my website right now and watch the video that I have put up about this.
You put up a video about this?
Yes, and I sent it to you.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay, well anyway, it says that that there are 40 state secondary schools.
It's called The State of the World.
40 state primary schools have changed their dress rules in a drive to be more sensitive to transgender pupils. This means that children as young as the age of 5 will be able to come out as trans without breaking uniform rules.
They don't even know how to tie their shoelaces.
Exactly. And
they know what gender they are.
And if you remember, before I left, I read from the Pediatrics Association that allowing children to do this, these doctors considered it child abuse. And I said, sooner or later, those doctors will probably be gone because that doesn't work with the agenda. I agree, it's child abuse. So, continuing with the transgender.
It's people abuse. It's people abuse.
It says that this primary school in Birmingham is designated, quote, a best practice school, unquote, by the charity called Educate and Celebrate, which this charity has received from the Department of Education to give diversity training to schools £200,000. And along the same lines, get this one, transgender criminals will now be able to choose between male and female prisons under official guidance drawn up by the ministers.
I can see the writing on that wall.
The policy will mean convicts will be allowed to serve their sentences alongside those of the gender with which they identify.
So, okay, let me translate. I'm being convicted for life imprisonment for whatever, and I think I'm a woman, so I want to go to a woman's prison.
Exactly. Yes.
Brilliant.
So that's what I said. The whole world now is just really, in my opinion, this is bizarre. But here we are. And speaking of bizarre, Kanye West, I see.
Oh, don't even say that stupid name.
Yes.
He should be sent to another world.
Well, obviously he's a programming icon. He has a new video for his song Famous. Did you see that?
Yes.
It says that it was unveiled in front of a crowd of 8,000 people. There's our number 8, right? At the LA Forum. And this video features himself and his wife and other celebrities naked in bed with people.
Brilliant.
It said that the men have their genitalia covered while the women are just full frontals.
Of course.
And these include Amber Rose, Caitlyn Jenner, Bill Cosby, George Bush, Donald Trump, Anna Wintour.
No Hillary?
Rihanna, Chris Brown, all snuggled up. Oh, Taylor Swift and an old girlfriend of his wife, who's his wife? Kim Kardashian, I guess?
Something like that.
And Ray J, which is an old boyfriend of hers.
Ray J, I want to be called Ray J.
So they're all in this long bed together, all naked. And again, what am I telling you? Group sex for
the reason,
New World religion.
And the purpose is?
They don't have to tell the purpose.
Because there's no purpose, because he's a moron. He's a lunatic moron.
He's doing what he's programmed to do. So, anyway.
He has no brain. He has no brain cells.
Well, that's what happens to program people. They have no brain cells.
I don't know what anyone sees in him, honestly.
Well, it's that shock value. So, the point being is still, I'm just curious here, they have 12 people. Well, they included him, because I was wondering if there was going to be 13.
But how come no Hillary?
I don't know, maybe they'll add her later on.
Oh, because she's a lesbian, that's why.
Well, that's okay. In these kind of group things, you can be whatever you want, remember? And then you can change.
Actually, Caitlyn Jenner would like that.
So, anyway, I just found that interesting. And then my last story, which is about Brazil. Brazil's human Ken doll wants to have 4 ribs removed.
I thought he was dead. Didn't he die from something? Like he took too many things out and he died?
Well, there are a bunch of them. This obviously is a different one. But one of them, I think, did not too long ago.
I think he needs to get the Zika virus.
That's not nice. He said he wants to have 4 ribs removed, but no doctor will do it. But he found a doctor.
He's already had his brain removed.
Well, they're mind control programming. Now he's found a doctor in Brazil who performed the operation.
In Brazil, they'll do anything for money.
Yeah, and I think, didn't we talk about a woman who had 3 ribs removed or something? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, it was so nice to be up in the mountains and away from all this stuff. I have to tell you. Yeah. I couldn't hear the nose.
I was here all alone with nobody to take care of me.
You're still behind me now.
What?
You're behind me. I'm like this, and you're back there. I can't see the camera and you. I do not have my eyes that go like this.
Okay, you know what? You need to go back to Italy.
So you have to
Look,
move
I
forward.
did this for you.
I can't see it.
Italy.
I can't see it. It has to be a little
I'm
closer.
Italian.
Anyway, so yes, it was very nice to be up in the mountains and away from all this
I think
mind
the
control and
altitude affected
programming.
you.
And
I think you had needed oxygen
I
and you
know
didn't get any.
why the Pope sent all his people up there to kill off those few the few thousand Waldensians that were there, because it is pure up there, and you can't get them with all this crap. And the truth scares people.
The Pope needs to get smack in the
The
head.
truth scares people, period. So I'm glad to be back. We have some information about our upcoming events.
Yes.
Our next big event is in September, a September Spectacular, and I didn't print out the agenda, but I do have it on the site.
And I'll tell you what, I was working on that while you were away, because
Yeah.
I was so depressed and lonely, I had
Yeah.
nothing else to do. And so I worked on that every single day, and it's going to be really, it's more than spectacular.
Yeah, and we have 5 brand new lectures that
A
have
lot.
never been presented
And
before.
more than that even.
And then we have other lectures that we're going to be building on, so you're going to be getting new and deeper information during this week in September. If you haven't signed up, I will tell you our space is limited. We have people
It is
already
limited.
signing up, so you need to get your name on the list.
And they're coming from several continents, I
Yes.
might add.
And then in September, October, you're going to be going back to
Well, like 2 days after the thing is over, I gotta
Yes,
go.
you have to go, and we have
And I'll be in September at least in Germany and Spain, and possibly a Latin American country.
trying to figure out the logistics.
And then
here.
in October, there'll be Belgium, Holland, Poland, Italy, and possibly Argentina. And then November, oh, what's November? Oh, it's something big.
I
What
think
is it?
it's-
Oh, it's my birthday.
It's Guy Fawkes Day.
Yeah, which is my birthday, which I mentioned in the last podcast. I already started getting presents from Iceland and Denmark. And I
Oh,
think-
don't forget July.
and Poland. What's in July? Oh, it's our anniversary. 7/7. Anniversary 7/7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you know what? I will also accept anniversary presents. I will accept from this point on.
That's very big of you. All right, so that's as much news as we can give you today.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, so those of us here in the Midwest, do your earthquake preparedness.
Now, how about just work on the mind pattern?
And then
That doesn't affect you.
in Iceland, I would like everyone to throw rocks in the opening of Hekla volcano.
Or do your
And block it.
mental work.
And
Or?
we'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye for now.